To Osaka, our chief political reporter Kieran Gilbert joins us live now. He's speaking to the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Kieran.
The President last night said that his administration is very good to its allies. That's not quite right, though, is it? Particularly in the context of trade, where his trade war with China is adversely affecting countries like this and like ours.
Well, it's important that it's resolved, and I welcome their sort of steely determination to see it resolved. But the issues at the heart of this this tension are quite legitimate. I mean, we're talking about issues around intellectual property, technology, forced transfer, industrial subsidies. I mean, these are big issues. I mean, the point I made in the speech earlier this week was the world's economic growth and development, whether it's in China or other places, have got to a particular point where a lot of these agreements and multilateral institutions are creaking to deal with that change. And so it's a new threshold. And so that means there's a lot of stuff to work out. And that's why meetings like this, I think, are very important, because 1 in 5 Australians' jobs depends on trade. We get by selling things to other people in other places. And so having clear rules for that and not being passive in those discussions is very important to Australia, which is obviously why I'm here.
Are you more optimistic after last night's dinner, or are you more pessimistic about the prospect of a deal between those two great powers?
Well, look, I'm just as assured about the determination to get one. The fact that they're talking, I think will always be positive. But, we got close in Buenos Aires last year, and what followed from that, the position has obviously fallen back from that point. So I hope they can get back on track. But what that also means is let them go and do that, and the rules and the conditions for doing that. We need to engage with the rest of the countries in the region and within the G20. I mean, we're pursuing a trade relationship with the EU. We've got the RCEP agreement, which combines around 15 or so nations here in Asia. These are important agreements as well. So there's not only just one show in town. There are many other shows, and we're very much plugged into all of those.
Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, says they're 90% of the way there in terms of the deal. How much of it does, in your view, come down to both sides needing to save face, in simple terms, because of all the rhetoric they've put around it?
Well, but that's always the case. I mean, there's nothing, I think, special about this particular deal when it comes to those issues. That plays into any sort of international understanding, particularly with players of this size and scale. So I think there's a common view from those who deal with both at a whole range of levels, because it's not just about trade. I mean, we have comprehensive relationships with China, as well as we've got long-standing alliances with the United States. And so I think we can speak openly to both, and as countries like Japan can, Indonesia can, and many others. And that's what happens here.
The Japanese Prime Minister raised the young Australian student, Alex Sigelei, with you during your bilateral. Obviously, it's a sensitive issue in this country. They've had experiences where people have been detained. It's obviously attracting regional attention now, that story.
Yeah, well, I'm very concerned about it. And for Alex, I'm concerned about it for his family. What's at stake here is the welfare of an Australian citizen. And so we're working hard to know exactly what we believe may have taken place and to confirm those arrangements. And we're working with our partners to do just that. But my principal concern is the welfare of an Australian.
Particularly in the context of the people are making the parallels with Otto Warmbier, that student in 2016.
Look, I think it's important in these situations not to go too far down the track. At the moment, we're seeking to establish facts, and then once you do that, then you're in a better position to help Alex.
Just a couple of quick ones from home. Because this is something you spoke very strongly about during the election campaign in that Sky News People's Forum with my colleague David Spears in Brisbane. You were asked about religious freedom. Do you think Israel Folau has been persecuted for his religious views? Well,
this issue has been running for some time. What I'm keen to ensure is that for your religious views in Australia, that you can get about them peacefully, that you shouldn't feel intimidated about them. I think what we saw in the election was that, and prior to that, people having a sense of discomfort, even just expressing their views when it comes to their religion, and not just the Christian faith, many other faiths as well. I mean, religious freedom is one of the cornerstones of what we are as a country. And it's important our laws reflect that. Now, we committed to put in place a Religious Discrimination Act. We're going to do that. We're working very hard on that right now. But I want to progress it in a very cooperative way. I don't want religion in Australia to be an issue of conflict. It's the whole point of religion is actually that it's something of peace, and it's a very important part of Australians' lives. And I want to see us progress this debate in a very constructive way, not based on conflict.
The Maronite Archbishop said to you, didn't he, that they left regions, many migrants to Australia, to get away from that sort of thing?
Absolutely, and we want to ensure that people can just feel confident and peaceful in expressing their faith, raising their families in their faith, and that is totally achievable. The attorney and I are working on that even as we speak, and I'm looking forward to being able to bring that forward. But as I say, not in a way that is confrontational, not in a way that is even controversial, a way that is just sensible and practical.
It's hard to be not controversial, though, in this space, because I guess the other question is, will people, will your new religious laws prevent people being sacked because of their religious views? That's a threshold question.
Well, the laws will come forward, and I think that'll be the time for that debate, and there'll be a period of time for consultation as well. And I seek to work with the opposition. I say I don't want to see this become an issue of partisan conflict, or more broadly. This is about a foundational, I think, freedom that Australians should enjoy, and I think we should find a very practical and cooperative way forward.
On a lighter note, just to finish. It looks like the President might be coming to Melbourne in December for the golf.
You played your own hand in that, KG, last night. So you were quick off the mark. No,
I'll get the cheque from the tourism bodies, thanks.
Well, the formal invitation is being extended to the President to join us for the President's Cup, and we'll see. I mean, he seemed pretty interested last night. I mean, I'm sure, he could do a patch on the commentary there as well. His encyclopedic knowledge of the game is very strong.
He loves it, and you might have to do a bit of a freshen up too.
Yeah, I'll go to school on that.
You'll be down there. Okay. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kieran. Good to be here.